More successful than the last one, at least. Like, come on.
It could have been worse. Yes, let's say that for sure. Not sure how transitioning from that sentence into this. I guess we just looked at Sakura, and here they are. They are up first, going up against Nightmare, and Sakura have been looking pretty darn good so far this stage. Obviously, they had a tough opener against SSG, but I think the last two games, just last week, where they played back-to-back matches against Dilduck and then Extinction, they played really well, and a lot of that has got to be on X10 as well. X10 subbed in, and she did phenomenal.
Yeah, picking up that Reaper role too, which is kind of sick. Yeah, apparently PDK was working. Yeah, obviously.
Allegedly.
We didn't. Allegedly PDK was working. But I'm curious if we'll see an X10 again today. I think when it comes to hit scans and like the DPS lineup in general, I think they've got a very good core for the meta. And if it does end up moving towards more of a hit scan role, which now the mid-season patches come, I don't think that's actually going to be the case. And it looks like it's PDK starting. So it's going to be PDK Reaper, Zomba Tracer type dealio. I think Sakura have, after that Extinction match, firmly cemented themselves in 4th, 5th. Like, this really does hinge that 4th seed. I think Nightmare have obviously struggled against top teams, but Sakura, they can punch up, and I would expect this to be a close game, and I'd be disappointed, honestly, if it wasn't.
Likewise.
Disappointed.
Yeah. Disappointed dad. I'm not a dad, but...
Are you Unk?
I'll be extremely disappointed. Yeah, I'm Unk for sure. Come on, I'm over 30.
If
you're over 22, you're Unk at this point. Like, yeah, come on.
That's offensive. We're not taking that. Z, definitely a standout player everywhere we see them at. And yeah, a lot of pressure, of course, has been on support lines, especially in the stage, I feel. So having a good, solid support line has been a big key to victory.
Yeah, it really has. I think with the problem with the support lines in this meta is like you're under so much stress because there's a lot of wrecking balls, there's a lot of Winstons. Like, you're going to be under pressure a lot, and like keeping that, yeah, exactly, Tracer too. Like, there's so much that you need to do, and also Wu Yang is a support hero as well. You have to make sure you're master of that character already. And I think coming into this match, I think the problem for the backline for Sakura is going to be Nightmare's tank picks, because they do have Rhino and they've also got Painkiller. So whatever map they feel like Rhino is going to be better on, you're going to see a lot of Wrecking Ball, and that puts just so much worry into the minds of the support players. And Z's been doing decently well. Like, the Extinction game was very good. The Dilduck's game was obviously a 3-0. It's just keeping that mental strong. Like, I know they're a very positive team from the interviews that we've seen with them. So yeah, just keeping that up is going to be important today.
Especially when the backline that you're playing against is Lucamino and Squid. I think you have to take a look at that and also make sure that you're not just keeping yourself safe from the DPS players, but you're also keeping yourself safe from those Wuyong orbs that are going to get thrown out there by Lucamino if he ends up being on that character. So I think there's a lot of different ways that we can see Nightmare play this, and in the starting roster, they are going to start with Painkiller. Kind of makes some sense, doesn't it? When you look at Painkiller's tank pool, it is a lot more of those off tanks that we have often seen Zeb pick up. Zeb loves to play the Zarya. Somebody that would be able to match him on that, and maybe even then some, would be Painkiller.
Yeah, I hope Painkiller's internet is staying strong this time around. Since last time, that was kind of public enemy #1. Here, a quick look at some of the bans we've seen from these teams. Again, we do have to take into consideration something that you've already mentioned, Jack, that the schedule from Nightmare was very front-loaded. So really, their stage starts here and now. And this is an important match. We've said that about, I think, SSG all last stage.
Yeah.
But it's kind of true, right? They got the hardest ones out of the way. Sakura still has to play Team Liquid, I believe, is their big finisher for stage 3. So they're going to ramp it up a little bit in difficulty. Whereas Nightmare, these are now really the must-win matches for them in order to cement themselves on that 4th spot.
Exactly.
Is that 90% Nightmare and 10% Sakura?
Haters.
I think that's a little too one-sided for Nightmare, but I think if you're just going off, you look at the teams against each other, I think you're like, okay, Nightmares are probably going to win. I think 10% is probably needs to be a little bit higher, but I think with how the strength of schedule has been, I think it is going to be a tough game for Sakura. I think Nightmare, they're still a very good squad. Look at last stage's performances. Like, They've played Liquid, they played SSG, they've taken maps off of SSG and Liquid, although it was Ilios. So, yeah, not surprised, but I'm a little bit, because Sakura's only at 10. Like, I don't know. Chat are going in kind of hard today.
You know, some days do be like that. Sakura here to prove them wrong, of course. So let's see what they have in store for us on map 1 in Series 1 here in NA. So Jack Neckrat, take it away.
Yeah, thank you very much. So yeah, it's an underdog story. It really is. Sakura, the same thing in stage 2. How much could they actually kind of punch up? Like, this is the game for that 4th seed. You're expecting Sakura to win against Team Z in week 5 and Liquid to win against Sakura in week 6. Nightmare, they have Sakura this week, Team Z, and then Extinction in the last week. So you're expecting Nightmare to just kind of roll on with a win streak. Nightmare do end up banning Reaper and a Hog ban for Sakura as we jump on to Samoa.
Nightmare's ban is definitely targeted at PDK. Whenever PDK has been in the lineup for their matches, has always wanted to play the Reaper. We've seen very few heroes outside of that from PDK. Sometimes the Soldier. So it'll be very interesting to see what PDK ends up landing on now that the Reaper is banned.
Yeah, I think PDK likes to play Sojourn. You can play hit scan on Samoa. And to kind of talk about Nightmare as well, Rose, you can see why Painkiller's in this roster too, at least right now. You're not going to an Ilios, so you can't play this ball. You can, but you're more likely to play broad tanks like Zarya, even Painkiller's run like Mauga and stuff like that. Like, you're very much going to be playing a lot of off tanks here. So Painkiller in does make a whole bunch of sense for Nightmare. I think NTMR too, with the Lucio on control, is needed. I think NTMR is done very well on Lucio, a little less so when we've seen them on the Brig and the Wu Yang as well. But I think Painkiller is the perfect choice here. And this is the big thing everybody's been talking about since the start of this stage, was how deep this roster is for Nightmare. And they do make good use of it. Sometimes we see subs sit on the bench forever, right? But Nightmare have done a good job of being able to pick their tanks and the DPS to their strengths and just kind of work from there. PDK, on the other hand, and Zeb, like, it's going to be a tough match for Zeb, land. Painkiller's Zarya Rose is just so good.
It is amazing, and I think that's why you see this Zarya getting mirrored on both sides. But it also makes a lot of sense that NY is going to be starting out in this roster. You want to make sure that you have the speed on both sides of the equation. So Lucio's for both teams, and we do have the Cassidy from both PDK as well as Seeker. But the Symmetra is really what's going to make things difficult for Nightmare. You've got this instant get out of jail free card with those teleports from the Symmetra that you can use to also just capitalize on maybe taking a backswing against the team.
Yeah, I didn't know we were watching EMEA still, to be honest. Z ends up going down to a right click of Painkiller. A swift teleport, trying to flip the map with Sakura, but with a flip of the map, does actually get Zeb 2 kills. Seeker and Lucamino fall over. Teleport away now for Sakura, as Rocket also ends up falling. A beautiful first pick as well with Z dying first. Nightmare couldn't capitalize.
It was really tough to also just play around the Symmetra, but now that Sakura Esports have control of the point, it gets even harder. The Symmetra can set up the turrets so that whenever Nightmare moves in, you're going to be taking so much damage, and it just allows the Symmetra to get even more set up. And look at the positioning that the supports can take as well. You get the chance to use the teleporter up to the high ground too, so Nightmare's getting surrounded on all fronts as they move back in.
Yeah, Nasuki does end up going down to Seeker. Zomba picked off by Seeker. Double kill, triple in fact, for the Cassidy. Quad? Okay, given the 5th. Oh, Painkiller steals it. Seeker with 4 kills in that fight. Dirty stuff, and he can play aggressive too. If he's ever in danger, he gets bubbled.
I love the quote that I heard recently. Hit scan is good in the meta as long as you're hitting the headshots. And Seeker has definitely taken that to heart. And it's working. You can see how Nightmare are also trying to let Seeker take this off blink. Zeb gets hit with a huge amount of damage as they move in.
You cannot let Seeker take an off angle like that, man. Well, a little teleport to point, and Sakura do end up flipping, but Zeb's bubbles have run out, and 100 charge on the Painkiller. That's an easy cap. Honestly, I actually like that from Sakura. TP into point, denying some percent, but look at the ult bank for Nightmare now.
It's full. And they have everything to use here. Even the Graviton Surge is going to be up in a couple of seconds. And that means they can pick. The fact that there's no Leon is also kind of letting this pulse bomb be a little bit more free. You still have to worry about the Suzu that would be coming out from Z, but Rocket actually just let that rip it. It found nobody off in the corner.
Z didn't TP, Rose.
Oh,
Z didn't TP, had to Suzu themselves, so the team got split up. Zomba died. Not quite on the same page there are Sakura. They're going to back up. And honestly, if you're Nightmare right now, play this far up, grab the corner, and then just go for a Sakura reset again.
and if they teleport back to point, I don't think it really matters to you because you still get a chance to play around these corners that I first for Seeker as you see Sakura make that rotation to point.
Yeah, big teleport. That's a lot of damage on Zeb, though. That was almost a fully charged Deadeye on Zeb and an insta-kill. Graviton Surge, PDK rips the high noon, but, I mean, it's all over there. Even with that wall, the entirety of Nightmare just walked through it and just decimated Sakura. And they still got beat.
They have beat, and Sakura Esports used a lot there. That was 3 ultimates that got them nothing out of that fight. Vital by territory as you see the
nice grab.
combo.
Yeah, double sound barrier ends up coming in as well, but they're fighting in this doorway, so it should be a pretty easy disengage for Sakura. They do lose Seeker in the mess of things, but they're closing in on 99, and they force Sakura to use both of their big ults for this fight with not much to gain. You've lost Seeker, but it's still a 4-on-5. Rocket's in the backline now, trying to harass PDK, who's gone pretty low. Z's on an off angle on the Kiriko, but almost forced to dash away there, but luckily, the rescue, Natsuki, just boot away the Tracer.
And there's still time for the rest of Nightmare to come back. So you see Painkiller already working towards the front lines, getting the Symmetric Teleporter down, and now all eyes on Zeb. That Zarya can't stay charged.
Zeb's so low, though. Painkiller just runs him down. Stick on the teleport, and Sombra and Natsuki didn't press the interact key quick enough. And that's the Rocket with a 3K. Lovely stuff from Nightmare to start us off with a round win.
That double pulse was crazy. I thought there would be enough time for Sakura to get through that teleporter and actually get away from the bomb. Oh, the bomb followed them. Unfortunate. What a great start from Nightmare, though. It just felt like Sakura didn't have any say in those fights, despite the fact that they had the Symmetra. Almost felt like those teleporters backfired on them, whether it was to try to use the teleporter to get to the point. Nightmare made a great rotation to go back there. And even the Symmetra Photon Barrier didn't feel like it was getting a whole lot of value when they used it.
Yeah, it was used in kind of a defensive way right when they got grabbed. Like, okay, if we use it, we use High Noon. They have to step through the wall to try and kill us, but the kills just came through too quickly. Like, Nightmare were just so high charged, and wow, Seeker with a fan the hammer roll into Zeb. Zeb's got no bubbles left. They'll be 1-up in a couple of seconds, and Nightmare know this, so a quick rotation to the point now. It's going to give Sakura high ground, but it shouldn't matter.
When you can play around this corner, it doesn't. And you also have the teleporter that can also get you to wrap around to the back of point. And so a little bit of that positional advantage is starting to slip away from Nightmare. But for how much longer? Zeb is still public enemy number 1. That's the focus of a lot of these fights, is to get the Zarya.
Yeah, I mean, Seeker has zero fear when Painkiller's right behind him. He's fan the hammering, rolling, getting bubbled, fan the hammering Zeb again, basically to force all bubbles out, and then you can't die because you have a bubble of your own. Like, yeah, nice stuff from a Painkiller and Seeker so far. This has got High Noon too.
This is the first ultimate in this round. He's gonna rip it right away at spawn.
I love this pace. I really do. Nice kill by Z, though, from the spawn doors. Should be a trivial affair getting Painkiller out here with that Suzu up in a couple of seconds, but this rush, actually, from Z is going to make it a little bit more difficult. No one's fallen just yet, but everybody is so low on the side of Nightmare. Lucamino shooting walls, hoping to maybe teleport through there to help Painkiller, but a good rush from Z will net them the point.
Nightmare still walked away with a lot more percentage than you might have expected because of that early Deadeye. They were able to capitalize on that extra space, the time that Sakura needed to wait out that ultimate for. And once they got the pick, they actually were able to go in with the rush. But now Nightmare held onto theirs, so Lucamino can let this rip through the main choke point. And there's no Symmetra to worry about anymore. Zombo's on Tracer.
But now Nightmare, they just flipped the script on them completely. They rush on the point. Zeb ends up going down. Sakura tried to beat Nightmare in the rotation game there. They tried to do what Nightmare just did to them, which was push the Cassidy into the spawn, like not the spawn itself, but like the big door, and then cut them off. But it was Sakura that were carved in half, and an easy kill onto Zeb just gets Nightmare the point again.
And now they're playing from such a power position You have the grab that you can throw at the door. You've got the pulse bomb that you can layer on top of that. And Nenua is also going to be the first one up to that sound barrier. But I like that this time Nightmare are playing with some tempered aggression. They're not going to go forward with that dot eye because they know that the shoe is also on the other foot. Sakura have a grab of their own and can match the same ultimates that they have. It's all about positioning. You don't want to get caught in the opponent's grab, but you also want to set up so that yours will win.
There's the grab. Sound barrier comes in for both teams. Pulse bomb on top of Nemwai. Zomba at least gets one kill. Rocket the same though with the kill onto Zeb. Painkiller without any bubbles and with a little life remaining. It's going to be able to hold down. Eventually plays a little bit more safe to get topped back up. But Natsuki can't really stand up to this. 100 charge Zarya, ain't no way. Lucamino is going to pull that rush as well. I mean, you can't push now. Sakura, they haven't got their Kiriko. There's no rush online, and they're getting chased all the way. And it's doubtful there's even going to be a touch.
Don't think there can be. I mean, they're actually going to try to use rush to close the distance to get there. And just a little short. Jack, that last fight was wild too. The fact that you had the mirrored graviton surges, Pulse Bomb got a pick on both sides, but Nightmare had control of that point the entire time that both teams were otherwise stuck. So they just got a chance to walk away with so much more than they had originally bargained for. And what a great start for them in this series, winning that first map 2-0.
It was just a better pick there from Rocket with that pulse bomb. Yeah, you trade your Lucio for the Zarya, but as soon as Painkiller managed to stabilize with the help of Lucamino, like, it's pretty over. Like, you cannot fight into the Zarya like that. You need to touch the point because OT's kind of near in. You saw Natsuki like, okay, I'm going to quickly touch, and then maybe I can play safe, wait for the rest of my team, touch again. But because Painkiller's so high charge, and like you said, they end up just pushing again to those spawns. Yeah, it's a real tough one. A very good start from Nightmare. You know, maybe the chat were right, but, you know, it is control. Little 2-0 doesn't dictate the series just yet. We'll see where Sakura end up taking us for the next one.
Oh my god, Seeker also, just watching back these highlights, what a menace. This first point, he was playing so well on those off angles, just getting so much damage, and then he understood the assignment on the second point as well. Zeb's bubbles always popped. Seeker there in the front lines, just fanning the hammer to break the Zarya bubbles, even though you know that the drawback of that is that you charge up that Zarya even more. But what great coordination from Nightmare to be able to play around Seeker in the front lines there, and you could see how much trouble it was giving Sakura.
Yeah, it really is just full faith in your tank, because you don't often see the Cassidy rolling into an enemy tank and then hitting the fan the hammer. So yeah, it looked good. Yeah, exactly, right? Like, you don't want to be that close to a full charge Zarya, but yeah, full faith in Painkiller there, and the supports, of course, for healing him up when he's going a little bit too deep. But yeah, good start from Nightmare, a little 2-0. We want obviously Sakura to kind of clap back here, but what's the angle for Sakura? Are they going to take us to a map where you can play something like a Wrecking Ball? Or do you think they'll be more scared of that, or do they want the matchup against Painkiller?
It's hard to say, because I think if you are in Sakura's shoes, I don't think you really want the matchup into either Rhino or Painkiller. They're two just extraordinarily gifted tanks in those individual roles of looking at the off-tank heroes or the more main tank heroes. And so I think you just kind of have to hedge your bets. Sakura, they want to play this Zarya game plan. So then, is it that you want to keep sticking to your guns, have Zeb on Zarya, continue to play around the Brawl that way so you go to more Brawl-oriented maps where you know that's going to be your strongest? Or do you opt into trying to go to a dive map and ban out the Wrecking Ball or the Winston, expecting Rhino to come into the roster? I still think you take the former. I think you lean into this Zarya game plan. You hope that maybe with the Reaper unbanned, that will be your big ticket to get that upset win onto Nightmare for a map, and then try to navigate the rest of the series that way, but one map at a time if you're Sakura.
Yeah, well, Nightmare can't ban Reaper again, so all good.
Exactly.
Make sure you go check out the FACEIT website as well. Season 7 is just around the corner, so if you want to compete with the very best, FCE.GG/FACEIT League, and you can climb all the way to OWCS. But if you're a little bit too scared about facing teams like Sakura and everybody else, like, it's okay. There are different tiers as well, a tiered system, so you're not always facing some of the very best that North America has to offer. So yeah, make sure you go check that out and sign up, because yeah, season 7 is just around the corner. It's going to be a good time. But yeah, going back to what you were just talking about, Rose, taking that kind of gamble there versus Painkiller, I think you'll hit the nail on the head, especially with having PDK on the Reaper. I think X10 looked really good on Reaper, but I think PDK's definitely got one up her in that department. Looks like we're going to go to an Esperança for the next map, which is a push, and probably Painkiller's going to stay in. Could play Wrecking Ball here, but I think with the Reaper not being able to be banned anymore, would make sense to just yeah, keep Painkiller in and just have out the Zarya battle again.
I think so as well, but I also wonder, maybe do we end up seeing Sakura actually try to play something that's a little bit different? Last time we were on Esperança, we did see Zeb on the Zarya, and we are actually going to see the Orisa get banned out from the Nightmare side of things, but it's not like we've not seen Zeb only play Zarya. In the last couple of matches, we actually have seen this Orisa, maybe something that Nightmare was anticipating heading into this particular map, but also the Mauga and the Diva. So it's not like Zeb is entirely a one-trick Zarya, and so I think if you are going to bring out anything special, you do have other tanks that maybe we could see Zeb make an appearance on, but Orisa will not be one of them for this upcoming map.
Yeah, I think the Zarya right now is just a little too strong, and with how they want to play as well, like, yeah, I think you just keep the Zarya in if you're Nightmare, unless you've got something cooked up, of course. Sakura's bad at the Sojin. I know obviously PDK is a pretty good Sojin player, but Seeker is as well. Like, this probably just makes them lean again towards the Cassidy, to be honest, and we might see close to a mirror of what we saw on Samoa as well. It could be, we could see the Wu Yang, but I think both teams have been kind of happy to play Lucio Kiri over the Wu Yang Kiri. Feels like at least the support players, they want to play the Lucio a little bit more comfortable there.
And because we saw the bans, I believe that means we don't have any substitutions. So
right.
NY staying in the roster, you would see the Lucio there, as well as being able to see a little bit more from Natsuki. I think Natsuki has been a phenomenal Lucio coming all the way over from EMEA. I think this has definitely been one of his best heroes. So I love that you get a chance to see NY get a little bit more play to mirror that composition.
And it feels like with the Zarya comps especially, it's very helpful to have the Lucio. Being able to gap close is super important. Less important with the Wrecking Balls. That's why you'll see like the Wu Yang and the Kiri. You can put the heal from the Wu Yang on the ball and just let him do his own thing, or just, you know, let him pick up health packs as they should. But yeah, this is what we expect from Sakura here. The Reaper, the Zarya, bubble PDK, send him in, kill Painkiller, and that's it. Seeker, on the other hand, no Reaper, just his scan, going Freya, which has seen a large spike in popularity and bans too, by the way, in rank. So yeah, Freya definitely kind of creeping back in to the meta.
And I love the Freya on this map in particular because of all the high ground that you can play around. Those bridges are so potent for your hit scan-esque heroes, where you're able to just have that high ground and shoot down onto the enemy team. And look at how well Seeker fights the Lucio while riding up the pillar. What?
Yeah, whoops-a-daisy.
Oh,
Natsuki straying a little bit too close to the sun there. Zomba chases him down, but this fight might as well be over, especially with the Wraith form already been used. Rocket just kind of dominating Z and PDK. Yeah, good initial pick, but Seeker and the rest of the gang are going to take that in their stride. All good.
It's okay. Seeker sacrificed himself for the greater good of that fight, which was, once you get the Lucio out of there, there's just no more group mobility that you can play around on Sakura. It's just going to be so tough for you to actually disengage from a lot of these fights. So when you have the Lucio on Nightmare that's going to amp it up speed and go into your face, there's just no way to escape from that. Painkiller does get quite low, so the Suzu gets forced out and used really early. But if you're Nightmare, you're still able to play around this corner where you've got these long-range sights. And Lucamino can get some nice hits like this.
Yeah, really nice headshots coming out from Lucamino. Might need some help though on Painkiller. That Suzu was, what, like 0.5 seconds away from being able to be used. Seeker still comes up with a kill though, and Lucamino just putting in work on this Kiriko. Seeker finds two in the meantime as well. So despite Nightmare losing their tank, they still come out on top. Pulse Bomb, a slight graze on the shins of Nemwai Bear. No kill for Zomba as Painkiller comes back on Ram, and Nightmare win back-to-back fights.
Nightmare didn't even have to use the Kitsune Rush there. I actually thought that losing Painkiller might have been an okay time to use the Rush just to secure the fight, since Nightmare have shown great mechanical skill in this match already, but they don't even need it because they're getting the raw picks. So now, how difficult is it for Sakura to play onto the Rush that's on point? They could basically guarantee themselves the checkpoint here.
Yep, they're going to rush that bolus. Well, it just ends up missing there, I think, but it's all good. A little bit of a space created. Rush used by Z2 to try and keep Zeb healthy and in the fight. Rocket and PDK do end up trading, and now Zeb can kind of step up. Getting through the barrier is going to be frustrating, but now in the wrong place at the wrong time. Natsuki, and losing these last 2 fights back-to-back means they don't have that sound barrier to match NY, and that is Nightmare with 3 fights in a row. Should be checkpoint 2 after they get this cleanup.
That's why they invested a little bit more there. The bot moved to an unfortunate positioning where the Kitsune Rush from Nightmare just wasn't as potent as Sakura's. But then you have the sound barrier from the Lucio to shore up that fight, and so while it was expensive, they know the greater good is that getting this checkpoint is such a huge deal on this map, especially with a composition like this. Now you can actually play around the corner. You've got the building that you can play around as well, and so let's see how Nightmare end up approaching this next engagement as they get ready with the high ground.
I'm flanking them then. Living in their spot, I'm living in their spawn.
Keep lost me.
Just pull him in. Just so, look where I am, guys. Look where I am.
Go back line. Gonna shoot card in 3, 2, 1. Lucio
Lucio
one on Kurt. Lucio one on Kurt.
I think right now, Rocket. Creeper, nothing. Yeah, walking now. We're swinging 3, 2, 1. Swing him in.
I grab Blossom. That Reaper dead.
I have Kurt. I wanna get up card.
Grab Blossom Kitsu pulls.
I'm an unstoppable object on the cart right now.
Okay, kill them going through window. I think Trey's going window, maybe.
She's the left side.
Okay, yeah, I hear it.
She's ours.
Might be. Reaper's gonna TP top.
Back close. Back at me. She's ours.
Reaper.
I'm almost off him. Trooper.
Shooting Zar, Reaper.
Reaper, Jen.
Kill Blossom. I'm 20 might be.
Reaper one. Reaper, Zar one. Reaper on.
Pain bottom.
Yeah, these grab.
Grab Curie.
Secret go. They used Kitsu grab, right?
Wow, Seeker actually almost got a kill at the very end, just hiding in the rafters there. Good stuff from Sakura. They do end up using that grab, but PK saves the Blossom. Not the easiest ult to kind of get off in these in this meta and in this matchup, but still holding on to that is fantastic. And actually, he's just going to use it on the Mega Health Bag. I said it wasn't easy to get off. Apparently, with PDK, anything's easy. Look at that, nice double kill onto the back line with the Death Blossom. Follow up with Painkiller, triple kill for PDK as Sakura now try and gain some push.
2 fight wins in a row is a really big deal, especially after Nightmare made that last fight so expensive. As Sakura uses the Death Blossom, they get a little bit more meterage out of it, and now they can get a pick with Somba's Pulse Bomb. And those Seeker snips about, PDK, careful! That Pulse Bomb hits, that's a big, they could get point.
Just undominable mental there from PDK, not using the shifts. And taking a little bit of damage there from Seeker, who's in the skies. Sound barrier, though, for NY, and there goes your team just falling over like a fish on land. That is unfortunate for Sakura. Again, these sound barriers are going to be a little bit out of whack for Sakura. Just look at Natsuki, 95%. Maybe that's turnover if they use the B.
I know, it's so close. It feels really bad that you're behind the 8 ball on that one, but you still have it now for the next fight. You gotta look at that glass half full type of mentality. You're gonna have the rush as well if you're Sakura, so both of those support ultimates to rely upon. But the job is tough. I mean, 4 minutes left. Nightmare have the lead. Sakura have not claimed their checkpoint yet on their side of the map, but it's not doomed. Double support ult here means that they can play around this open space a little bit better with that sound barrier.
I think Nightmare are going to give them an actual chance, though. This is the thing. You can just play the high ground here. 95 meters to 31. Sakura don't have checkpoint. Nightmare can just wait for Seeker to find a pick. PDK jumps up with a bubble. Bubble gets popped instantly, and then so does PDK's brains. Well, Annihilation on the point to try and keep the fight going. Seeker does eventually fall prey to Zomba. The Annihilation is doing a fair bit of work to Z, but fighting on the rush is beneficial for Sakura here. investing a lot of ults, but they have to. Nightmare choosing not to use their own rush. Smart stuff as they go for a reset. Although still finding trade kills. Good for Nightmare in this situation. Zomba should be able to clean up the rest of the members though. Yep, kill onto Nemway is going to be good. And now they can reset that spawn.
That PDK teleport looked a little greedy, but I think you could see the vision. Have the bubble on PDK. You gotta send somebody after Seeker to at least be able to pressure him off of high ground. While Zomba's able to accomplish that now with the blinks across the way into the opposite building, it's hard to mark down that Freya. So maybe it's going to be Zomba, maybe it's going to be PDK with the help of a bubble. But Sakura need to win now. They have to get this checkpoint to have a chance in this map.
Really good damage onto a Painkiller there, but PDK has to use that shift to get away. Even Bubble too. All right, okay, Sakura tempering this fight, just playing back a little bit. Maybe hoping Nightmare kind of walk up and get grabbed. Lucamino teleports away. Zeb looking maybe for the Kiriko. They know they're somewhere. Ends up grabbing the corner. PDK takes the kill onto Lucamino, and now Painkiller's also trapped. Pops the Nemesis form for some additional durability, but where are the extra kills from Sakura? They're quite split right now with Zeb going pretty low, but a couple of bubbles will help him out eventually as PDK does the damage required. Nightmare still holding on to this rush, but Sakura, they might just be able to take lead. A teleport onto the high ground for PDK as Seeker goes extremely low, and now it's Nightmare. They are completely split. A push on the point here for PDK is going to be good, but under pressure by this Tracer. Zeb eventually falls with a late rush from Z, not going Sakura's way. And PDK also bites the dust. Nightmare holding on to this bot and holding on to their checkpoint as well.
Oh, I feel like that was such a missed opportunity with the rush. PDK having Death Blossom. That Reaper is going to be firing so fast, and that's really a point presence that you're hoping for out of a composition like Sakura's. Being just shy of that checkpoint means that this is going to get even tougher of a map. And now the Nightmare have taken the bot away, back into their territory, and are looking to try to re-unlock those forward spawns. And with 3 ultimates to choose from, Annihilation as well as a 4th one that Painkiller has just earned, the world is Nightmare's oyster right now. They should win this fight.
100%. And you can go beat for beat. PDK hasn't got any cooldowns left. Ends up teleporting away. That perk coming in clutch there. The quick TP comes in, but Rocket again lands a pulse ball onto Zeb. Tank now down, and Sakura, they're bleeding, they're hurting. They've got a minute left in this time bank to try and gain the lead, but their numbers are waning, and these late deaths are going to cost them big time. Nightmare saved their Annihilation, and Sakura only have this Death Blossom, and Nightmare unlock those forward spawns again.
And it's not going to be easy to get this Death Blossom to do work against this Ramatra. Ramatra has Annihilation. And with this ball continuing to make progress, you're now getting to a point where you can actually play around these trolley cars. With how much time is left, Nightmare don't actually need to make any more progress now. It's just about playing in the lower parts of these buildings, denying the high ground control from Sakura, and just making sure that you have the right positioning to let this Annihilation rip from Painkiller.
Yeah, exactly that. You just play the corners, that's all you need to do. Painkiller can basically sit here forever, can open up a mortgage on this little patisserie on the right-hand side. Like, he's chilling. Annihilation, still got Nemesis form, can play with the shields. It's up to Zombra and PDK here. They have to be the playmakers. PDK now trying to put pressure onto Painkiller, but there you go. Nemesis form pops, Annihilation nets. Natsuki already dead. Painkiller is just shrugging off this damage. PDK's ult there just basically did nothing. The rush from Z eventually gets ripped, but this Annihilation has still been ticking this entire time, and overtime as well is going to do the same thing. A team kill on Sakura and Nightmare get match points.
Great map from Nightmare to get our second map win in the series. And it did start to look a little bit closer there from Sakura, but just not able to string together enough fights. Nightmare did a great job of being able to play around a little bit more of that telegraphic play coming through from the Reaper, like the teleports, or even just the wraiths and when they were going to end. And it just felt like Nightmare had every single answer. This Ramatra was potent. Not necessarily a tank. I feel like you actually end up seeing, well, at least I don't see a lot of in my ranked games. But right now, worked out beautifully against this Zarya.
Yeah, especially when you're up like that. Just being able to sit on a corner or like sit on the bot, it's just so powerful when you're in that much of a lead. And to no one's surprise either, Seeker had a really good game. And I want to touch on what you said there as well. Like, PDK being able to get to the back line with these TPs, with the bubbles attached to him, to try and put pressure onto Seeker, onto Nemwa, onto Lucamino. It was so difficult. There were a couple of times where PDK was just kind of caught out a little bit and kind of just picked off. A very easy kind of character to kite, of course. The Reaper has been seeing a lot of play considering the tanks that are popularized right now. But Sakura, they just couldn't shut down this long-range DPS in Seeker. And Rocket, too, also had a phenomenal game on Tracer. I think overall, Nightmare, and, you know, maybe the chat was right, you know, 90% to 10 Rose. Like, yeah, they're looking good. This could just be a 3-0.
I was really hoping to see some different looks from Sakura. I think especially with the way that they experimented last weekend with Zeb playing a couple of other tanks outside of the Zarya. Some of that was necessity, having the Zarya banned out. Some of it was simply that we got a chance to see just some different flavors of what Sakura can bring to the table. I think that's what they're really going to need to pull out here is one of those picks. Maybe it was the Orisa that ended up getting banned out from Nightmare in this map. But maybe it's going to be the Malga that might have a little bit of a better matchup into something like the Zarya if you choose to.
Yeah, I mean, you could even honestly sub in X10 if you go to like a long range map, like you go to a circuit or something. It's you could try the Freya out for yourself. Maybe you don't think PDK on the Reaper is working out too well. Of course, X10 is still chilling. Like she can come in whenever. We'll see if Sakura end up going to a map or a game type like that, or go somewhere like, I don't know, King's Row, where Reaper's a lot better than something like a Circuit Royale. So yeah, we'll have to see where Sakura want to take us. But Rose, in all honesty, if Nightmare win this 3-0, the last couple of maps have been pretty one-sided, pretty decisive, I'd say. I think this puts a tier break below that fourth. I think it's weird. Nightmare are in their own little tier in fourth seed. You have the top 3 right now, and then tier break, and then you have Nightmare, and then a tier break beneath that. So, and it's looking a little strange this stage. I think people expected Nightmare to put up a bit more of a fight in the first half of this stage, but I mean, hey, if you're still clutching in fourth, it's still going to feel pretty good. Speaking of which, there are the standings right now. Nightmare 1 and 3.
But you called this out at the very beginning. Even though they are 1 and 3, their 3 losses are to the teams that we have all expected to be at the top tables. GK, Team Liquid, and Space Station, which are reflected in the current standings right now. So can you really hold it against Nightmare for having losses against those 3 teams and still finding a win on Ilios versus both Team Liquid and Space Station, which you would expect to be teams that can win on that map? I think you have to still give them a ton of credit that they were able to take those maps off of those top teams, even if it's control, you know, whatever. But Nightmare can win, and they will have the chance to prove that with the rest of the season.
Let's look at the maps that are available. Suravasa picked by Sakura. First point, not as rough for the Reaper, and I'm getting word as well. No substitutions for either side, so same 10 entering the lobby. So again, it's probably just going to mean Zarya on Zarya violence. Maybe a little bit of Ram too, you know? I think, well, depending on the bans, it looks like Nightmare want to ban the Sim. I actually don't mind this ban at all. Obviously, Sakura showed that they want to play maybe a little Sim on Samoa. So banning the Sim here is nice. Sim on this map especially, pretty good. Very easy to get to the high grounds on certain points. And that first point as well, really easy to kind of close that giant gap with PDK.
And Sakura banned the D.Va. Almost feels like it's a bit more of a safe ban, protecting the Zarya, so that that's not something that could actually get banned out. But I definitely wouldn't expect to see the D.Va come out in the face of a Zeb Zarya. That's for sure.
Let's have a look. We'll see if Sakura can come back. I mean, really wanted this to go all the way. Or at least have 1 point on the board. I think if I was doing predictions, I'd probably say Nightmare 3-1. From what we saw, especially last map, it doesn't feel like it's going to be the case at all. See if Sakura has any tricks up their sleeve. Zomba's still going to be playing Tracer. PDK, yeah, maybe over to something like a Cassidy. That wouldn't shock me either, to be honest.
Oh my god, seeing those pigeons reminded me, I have something to show you about fancy pigeons.
Okay.
They're really cute. I saw one online recently that's named Pot Roast. He's adorable.
Dude, this pigeon lore is getting insanely deep. Wikipedia, you know what to do.
All right,
Wikipedia
but
mods.
back to the match at hand. We actually are going to see a bit of a shakeup, a slight little topsy-turvy with the supports there in the lineup for Nightmare, but PDK coming out on the Cassidy is almost exactly what we needed. I think just a little bit more range to play around with. You also have the same type of effect with what Seeker was able to show us on Samoa, with Zeb being able to bubble the Cassidy and stand up a little bit taller to the Zarya of the other side, as Natsuki does unfortunately take a nice little shot there from Seeker, but you kind of still have the same problem here, don't you, Jack? How do you get rid of the Freya up there? Who goes up there to get her down?
Exactly, it's like, well, you can't really send the Lucio after them, and, well, the Freya's just going to be basically hunting for a pick, right? It's not like a Widow, it's kind of like a Hanzo where you're just kind of waiting for that double bolt to land. Very early cap, though, for Nightmare. Good bubble onto Rocket, actually, does end up forcing some CDs in the back line, and now Zed's in trouble. Double hit from Seeker, takes care of the tank, and now it's all going to fall apart. And the worst thing here for Sakura, too, they didn't even have a point.
It's been under Nightmare's control this entire time, so by the time Sakura comes back, they just need one more fight win, and Nightmare will secure this first flashpoint. They already have an ultimate to play around with, as well as Rocket has earned that pulse bomb, and Painkiller is chasing Sakura all the way back to spawn with this high energy. Look at how much splash damage that he just did to PDK, Zeb, and Natsuki. So they have to wait, heal that back up, and then move in. All the while, you're just letting Nightmare capture more and more progress, but that was good. Nemwai gets cut out of nowhere by Zomba.
Yeah, maybe a little one clip there from Zomba. Rocket missed the pulse bomb still, though. No one from Sakura looking around to deal with the Tracer. Maybe they're thinking a little bit more of an inconvenience than anything else. Even recalled there. PDK ends up just whipping around, throwing a flashbang. Does go wide. So that will be the points. Good stuff. Rush used from Z to make that work. But now Nightmare, oh, they're in a perfect spot. They come back, they rush, they win the point. They're at 99%.
Yeah, there can be some answers to this, though, and that's exactly what Sakura is hoping for. One, maybe it's just a nice headshot from PDK. You also will have earned the Deadeye with a little bit more damage, so that's another way that you can kind of just keep Nightmare from coming back to the point. And then you stall out with something like the sound barrier. Natsuki's actually earned that quite fast. So that's another thing that you can throw into the mix. Zabdal's also very close to this Graviton Surge, so depending on how this fight plays out, you have actually a lot of ultimates that you can cycle through if you're Sakura to keep control of this flashpoint.
Like the high noon usage there. So Nightmare can't make full use of the rush, but they just walk forwards. That soundbarrier from Natsuki just way too late. Soundbarrier's going to come in, and that one was just on time, just what the doctor ordered. And Nightmare going to take this point now with ease. Yeah, just support ult economy there. Too good for Nightmare.
Yeah, the sound barrier was great from Natsuki, but Nenwise was just even better. Now with the flashpoint going over to this part of the map, Nightmare actually get a chance to get there first. I think that's huge for them. They get to play from this defensive position where Painkiller has the grab. You can just throw that out and give Seeker the best firing range when everybody is just grouped up together. If he wasn't popping up before, he's definitely going to be popping off, fighting into the grab.
Oh, what a grab. That was such a nice grab by Painkiller. I think that caught PDK directly in the chest. Unfortunately, Nemwai comes up with a nice little triple, shooting into the Graviton Surge. That is a quick team kill, and that is a quick cap too.
Sakura can do the same thing back to them. Zeb has that Graviton Surge ready to go, but Lucamino is on this like crazy angle.
Hello, Tracer. Triple blink already used. Yeah, no fear now for Lucamino. Taking a little bit of damage. Easy TP range though. Needs that Suzu. Needs it fast. No, it doesn't matter though. All good. All good. Rocket just lands a double pulse bomb kill. Perfect stuff. Nightmare. Man, they are blowing Sakura out of the water right now.
It has just been lights out play by them. Rocket has landed so many pulse bombs. That's that second time that I've seen such a giant pulse bomb in this match. And Rocket's been on fire. Now moving into the second part of this flashpoint, they don't really have a whole lot, Nightmare. They can play around these ultimates from Sakura, but it's the same exact story from that flashpoint number 1. They're gonna have 99%. Seeker may go down here, but they're gonna get as much progress as they can out of this. I just hope that they can force Sakura to use ult, and then they can come back even stronger.
Nice. Okay, yeah. Not using an ult challenge, very easy for Sakura there with the initial pick. onto Seeker. Okay, and they don't use Rush. That's like the perfect situation that you were talking about. But Nightmare still on 92.
It is good. Now that you have the rush to play from on point, Sakura Dune, I think, need to play a little bit farther back. They're going to try to get a little bit of poke as Nightmare move in. But where the rush is going to find the most power is as a response to the one that they know Lucamino is going to have when Nightmare make their re-aggress here.
Yeah, look at that. Instant both rushes on the point. Zeb, the main focus, though. That's the Suzu. 2 bubbles used. They know Zeb is vulnerable right now. And these right clicks from Painkiller are hurting. Zeb dead. Z down. Nightmare with 2 points on the board. Sakura couldn't get it done. The focus fire from Nightmare looks clean. Zeb is just under so much duress. It's hard. He needs a get out of jail free card like ×3. Like this guy is going straight to jail every single time.
Symmetric teleporter plus also the Suzu, and then also on a Wraith form. If you
yeah, exactly.
The
Zarya new ability.
Yeah, exactly. Like she needs anything else right now. But you're so right. Zeb has just been under threat this entire time. And if you don't have your bubbles to protect you, you're just a sitting duck.
Bit too aggressive there. Oh! Whoops-a-daisy. It's all good though, maybe. As long as Seeker ends up dying, it doesn't find any more kills. Surely not. Okay, there's the Suzu onto the enemy Casty, and he still gets another one! He can't keep getting away with this! Someone kill Seeker, please! Holy, looking like cool man. Okay, well, Sakura doing up capping the point. Nightmare, they've got grab, they've got this high noon, and they still have position on the point. Z is dead. There's a recall already forced onto Zomba. A nice Suzu there from Lucamino to keep everybody alive. Chumba down, and Nightmare have control.
Not killing Seeker is crazy. He gets away with 2 more picks after sitting at 10 HP. And now Nightmare are able to take that flashpoint back away from Sakura and actually even just take the fight to them. Deadeye from Seeker is going to help delay this fight a little bit, but oh my god.
Oh, okay. Respect the door there. Both the casters had that bubble. But they trade DPS. I mean, Nightmare just going to go in. Sound barrier, but here's the grab. They're all locked in place. PDK trying to spin 180, trying to get a spin bot going. It's not happening, unfortunately. That is Nightmare again, routing Sakura. They've got to grab, they've got to rush, but Nightmare, Rose, they're just going to play up again. They're going to try and catch Sakura on the rotation.
I mean, Nightmare did such a great job in that last fight, too, of just, oh, you hit the sound barrier, I guess we're just going to hit the grab. And they can play this far up. Look at they have 82%. They just have to stop Sakura from touching the flashpoint at this point.
Painkiller survived the grab. It's over. It's done and dusted. Point's going to get flipped here, but it doesn't matter. Oh, maybe it even won't. All right, well, there it is. Nightmare with a 3-0 on Suravasa. And as the series has gone on, it looked less and less close. That is how you want to start your season midway through Stage 3. Nightmare with a win on the board. Now 2 and 3 in the standings.
This was a statement. 1-3 in the standings, no problem. We're just going to string another match win together. And against a team that really is one of those hunting for that 4th place position on the overall leaderboards for stage number 3. Nightmare took that hope and shut the door on them. This was a 3-0 blowout. And like, oh my god, credit to Seeker. What just like confidence he had and so much
trust. A monstrous performance, especially towards the end. Yeah, not dying there is crazy. I mean, the title kind of perfect soldier. It was in the front lines permanently, and the Painkiller, yeah, like the trust with Painkiller's bubbles being able to, we saw it a few times, fan the hammer, the Zarya bubbles, so they have to use them on themselves. Nightmare look good. 99 limbs to 37 KD to 0.83. No, Nightmare are looking clean. The next matches are Team Z and Extinction. This 4th seed and kind of like I was explaining before, this kind of tier break is well and truly in effect now. We'll see if Sakura can finish out their season strong, but the statement maker, no doubt, Rose.
This was something that I really want to give some more credit to the supports as well. None of this happens if you don't have the same type of trust in your tank as you do to your supports. Lucamino put in just a monstrous effort on that Kiriko. Whenever there was a low Zarya, you're healing them up. You have Seeker that's also on an off angle that is just going to town on the enemy team, and he gets low and he survives through all of that. So it's the supports that are enabling the DPS and the tank to do that, saving them when they are in the biggest threat.
Yeah, we talked about the immense pressure and responsibility support have in the current meta, and if you have this solid backline, the world's your oyster if you're in those front lines. And then why on Lucy also so slippery, like barely ever died, like they just didn't get anything to work. Sakura was kind of not really able to show up in this match, which is surprising given that they had some really good matches and some really strong showings the last couple of weeks. But Nightmare's stage, not season, started today with a really dominant showing. Also, peeking a little Ramatra here. I'm happy, I'm thrilled, elated.
Little Ram action. Yeah, I knew you'd like
Ram
that.
action.
The Ram look good. I mean, especially on this map, I think it is very powerful. Just Ram is so good at just holding corners and being that far in the lead. You're just waiting for Seeker to hit a couple of shots, Rocket to land a pulse, get a one clip on somebody, and Painkiller just sits there, holds right click in Nemesis form, and doesn't let go. And yeah, it was perfect. But you know, Painkiller, he defend, but also he attack. The grabs look good. I think overall, this Nightmare looks a lot cleaner than they have done in the first couple of weeks. They found their groove, they found themselves, and now they just got to finish the season strong.
And there's what a threat that they have, not just this Brawl look that absolutely demolished one of the stronger Brawl teams in North America, but they also have the dive. Rhino can fit in, no problem. Play the right Winston, play the Wrecking Ball, and I think that's also going to throw teams for a loop. It's so hard to have to play against a team that can do both of those things really well.
Yeah, this was a fantastic look, and let's be real as well, Seeker just had a phenomenal day as well. Seeker and Rocket put up so many numbers. Like, it's hard when the threat is literally coming from every side and then some. So, tough day in the office for Sakura, but Nightmare is looking locked in and strong. I'm very excited to see their upcoming matches and just generally how they will fare come playoffs.
Yeah, playoffs is going to be the big test. I think the next couple of weeks, they're just going to want to get over with, prepare for playoffs and find their groove. And it looks like they have, so maybe they can topple some of the giants. The playoffs are going to be, it's going to be some spicy stuff. And I hope those tier breaks, like I mentioned, shatter, because I think the top four is very competitive in North America right now.
I couldn't agree more. Painkiller is actually going to join us for a quick chat, so let's bring them in. As we are, there they are. Painkiller, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining, and of course, a big congratulations on the dub. Let's talk about this match though, because heading into this, I kind of joked about Nightmare's stage starting now, but like, really though, it was a very front-loaded schedule, a difficult start for you guys. How do you keep the mental up and rally for the second half to perform the way you did today?
I mean, for us, you know, we're just thinking ahead towards playoffs. Like, 3 teams qualify to Stockholm, so we're thinking, you know, it's just going to be in playoffs. We just need to get one win versus the top teams, and given our schedule at the front, it wasn't really us at full strength, especially with the new roster. So I think just look out for us in playoffs, and we're going to make our mark there.
Is there one team in playoffs you really want to be? Obviously, you did end up going down to Liquid, SSG, and GK already. Like, is there one team on that you're like, okay, we want you?
I mean, last stage, the only team that we didn't beat a single time was GK. So that would probably be the team that we look to beat. But also SSG, I think we would be looking to beat as well. You know, they took 2 of our players after last stage. So going into this playoffs, you know, if we could beat SSG or GK and qualify to Stockholm from either one of those, that's what we're looking forward to.
I think that's been one of the most amazing parts of Nightmare, is watching every single player that goes through that team ends up in just phenomenal places. So Painkiller, what has it meant to you to be playing for Nightmare and also alongside your teammates?
I mean, I really enjoy playing with this team. It's a lot more fast-paced, even compared to last stage. Like last stage, you know, in the regular season, we beat almost every team except GK in a map 5. And we took some losses at the start, but playing with this team, I feel like is going to be really strong in the long run. You know, we're going to be looking to win North America this stage.
Right on. I'll take that as a promise, and I'm very excited to see what you guys have in store for us in your upcoming matches. Painkiller, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us, and best of luck in your next match.
Thank you, guys.